Hello, I'm Michael Alexander, and I am the District 100 Chief Judge for the 2023-2024 contest season. This is the training for Chief Judges for the individual contests. Welcome, we're glad you're here. Before you take this training, however, if you've not already taken the training for the voting and tie-breaking judges, or want to review those, please go and take that training before you continue with this one. With that, let us begin. This season, there will be two contests. The first will be a table topics contest. For this contest, all contestants will respond to the same question posed by the contest chair. This starts at the club level and continues to the area, division, and district where it terminates. There's also the international speech contest, which is 5 to 7 minutes, any topic, any style, and it terminates at the World Championship of Public Speaking. What's the responsibility of the chief judge? Well, ensure that the contest is conducted fairly, ensure that the contest is conducted according to the contest rules, and that all players perform their tasks properly. However, if necessary, you will have to interpret the rules and make necessary decisions pertaining to them. This may sometimes require improvising or even modifying the rules in extreme conditions. Do not worry, your decision is final, and the district and I will back you up even if you make a mistake. So do not worry, just do your best and relax. You must make sure that all of the paperwork necessary for the contest, either electronically or in paper, is available to the judges and everyone else involved. This means that you're going to have to front end this. You may get these from the contest chairs, that's up to you. Again, I want to remind you, you're in charge, not the contest chairs. You're in charge. Rule with an iron fist, and remember, we will back you up. Do not be afraid. Now, there are three types of judges who go by that name. There is the voting judge. The voting judges score the individual contestants, and they send their ballots for the top 3 contestants to the counters, who will score them together. For this contest set, you will need 5 judges at the area level, 5 at the club level if they choose to have a club contest, although they can send from the club to the area any way they choose. There are 7 needed at the division level and 7 needed at the district level. There's also a tie-breaking judge, 1. This judge acts like the voting judge in that they score every contestant, but their ballot is only shown if it's necessary to break a tie between the judging that the voting judges have done. And then there's you. There's the chief judge. You actually do not cast a ballot. Your job is to provide administrative oversight. There are also other players at the contest. A Toastmaster for the contest itself, the contest chair or chairs, Toastmasters for each of the 2 contests, 2 sergeant-at-arms. Table topics will require someone to go into the other room to watch the table topics contestants. There will be 2 timers who will have stopwatches and timing lights, 1 set with the timing lights, or the timers for virtual contests will raise their hand to appear in the upper left-hand corner so that those watching on screen can see them. And they may use colored backgrounds as opposed to timing lights. There are 2 tellers with the ballot counters and ballot collectors. The voting judges, who I've described earlier, please as contest Toastmaster judge, make sure all of the judges are there before you start. Get the best tiebreaker judge you can. He's the one who has to fix it if something goes wrong, so you want a good one. And lastly, there is the person who announces the contest results. Before the contest even begins, all functionaries, and I'm talking specifically the judges, the contest chair, chief judge, and counters should share their phone numbers because they're going to need to connect via text message, not rely on Zoom, because if something goes wrong with Zoom, there can be a problem. You should get all the paperwork for eligibility, contest profiles, etc., from the contestants and the judges. We'll talk about that more on the next page. The contest master should go over the rules with the contestants. The judges should meet in an assigned breakout room with the chief judge and the counters for a briefing and roll call so that you're sure that everyone is there before you start. Judges should be anonymous from the very start. Online ones should enter with their video off and use a name like Judge Number 1. That also helps you make sure that all of your judges are there. The timer will read the timing rules to all of the contestants and demonstrate the lights or backgrounds in video presentations. The timers should raise their virtual hands, as I said before, so they appear in the upper right-hand corner when appearing virtually. There's a lot of paperwork. I'll provide links on the end page, but this is the list. Form for results, judge's certificate of eligibility and ethics. You should have a copy of the speech contest rulebook. If you have a problem, by the way, don't hesitate to contact me during the contest. Again, I will provide you with my contact information at the bottom. The International Speech Contest Judges Guide and Ballots, time record sheet, the counters tally sheets, table topics ballots, tie-breaking forms for both the table topics and, if I didn't mention it earlier, for the International Speech Contest, the notification of winners form, which is used to pass on to the next level, speaker's certificate of eligibility and originality. There's the contest tiebreakers judge, and lastly, contestant profiles. During the contest itself, the contest master, after a brief introduction, will bring up the contestants in speaking order. The speaking order will have been randomly selected in advance. The contest master will announce the contestants in the chat and verbally so that the judges can write that down. If there is a program, that will help make sure you can spell all of the names properly. Get a copy of that if possible. Then the contestants will speak one at a time. The judges will have 1 minute to mark their ballot between contestants and unlimited time after all the contestants are done. Now, if you are using the Excel spreadsheet, which I have provided for the judges, that will make this much faster, but do not let the contest Toastmasters rush you. Don't even let them say, "Are we done yet?" You will tell them when you're done. There should be no talking during the scoring. And if the contest master has to ask, they can send you a chat, nothing verbal. When the contest is over for each of the two contests, then the completed voting ballots will be texted to the counters or handed to them. The tie-breaking ballot will go only to the chief judge, and it is only brought out in the event that it's needed to break a tie. The counter, after the contest or between the table topics and international, as the chief judge prefers, will generate the scores based on the judge's ballots. That's 3 points to each one that each judge has given first place to, 2 points to the one the judge has voted second, and 1 to the one voted third. The end of which they will sum these up and see who has the highest score. This is overseen by the chief judge in the breakout room. Now, if a ballot is invalid because it hasn't been signed, or because it's confusing because they have put down names which are not clear, then just set that ballot aside. It doesn't count. Now, if and only if the total tally is a tie, the chief judge will open the tiebreaker's ballot, and ties will be resolved in the order provided by the tie-breaking ballot. To be clear, if two people are tied, for example, one is first and the other one is also first, then the tiebreaker's order for those two will determine who gets first and who gets second, even if the tie-breaking judge would have rated them, say, 6th and 7th. All that matters is their relative order. But this is important because their ballot must be valid. It must be signed, and it must be clear. So again, get your best judge for tiebreaker. 2/3 of the times, you won't use them. 1 time in 3, it does come up. Now, basic procedure for the contests themselves. Introductions for the international are name, speech title the second time, and name again. For table topics, it would simply be name and then the name repeated. No talking at all while the judges are scoring or doing the math. No interviews during the admission if a contestant is in more than one contest, but if all of the contestants are only in one contest, you may have an interview during that intermission to cover time. Make sure that no designations for Toastmasters, no path, no level, no DTMs, no past offices, etc., may be displayed and may not be mentioned. This is to avoid a bias which could occur as a result. Please make sure that the Zoom master has muted and turned off videos for everyone except for the timer, contest judge, chief judge, and the contestants while they are competing. We want as few distractions as possible. Before a speech actually starts, make sure that there's been a mic and video check, and check to make sure they can see the timer. Again, the timer should have their hand raised and be in the upper left-hand corner. Or, of course, in person, make sure they can see the timing lights. Check to make sure, that is, the contest master should check to make sure the judges have been briefed, and the chief judge will respond, the judges are briefed and ready to proceed. If they are, if they're not, simply say, not yet, I'll let you know. If anything goes wrong, stop the contest until it gets fixed. Be strong about that. I didn't mention it before, but I'll go back to it. If a contestant loses video capacity at the start of the presentation, give them 30 seconds to regain connection, and then they will continue from where they broke off. They will not start from scratch, because that would give them a chance to fix what they did wrong. Now, continuing again. For the table topics, it's a little different than the international. Everyone but the first contestant are removed to the breakout room, where they will be watched by one of the sergeant-at-arms who will bring them in at the appropriate time. Before all of this starts, the chief judge should check the table topics question as a sanity check to make sure it seems reasonable and answerable. If it seems impossible or requires too much information, you may want to suggest a different question. Once it's been deemed acceptable, and everyone except for the first contestant is out of the room, the table topics master will read the table topic question twice to each contestant. If they haven't heard it by the second time, good luck to them. They probably disqualified themselves. The contestant will then answer the question. The judges will mark their ballots, and the next person is then brought in to hear the question and answer it. This will repeat until all of the contestants have answered the question. Of course, once that's done, the judges will pass their ballots to the counters, either electronically or in person, depending upon whether it's an in-person contest, which will only be the district contest, or it's a virtual contest, which is all of the others. In order to qualify as a contestant, they must be a member in good standing of a club in good standing. The contest chair is responsible for checking this before the contest. For the international contest, they either must be a DTM or have completed both level 1 and level 2 of a path. Under the old rules, 6 competent communicator speeches was adequate. It no longer is. They must not be on any list of ineligible people, such as district officers or candidates for district office. And they must represent only one club in Toastmasters, not just only one in the district. Last year, we had somebody in 2 different districts enter twice. They were disqualified. As for the judges, they must be a member in good standing. They must not be a contestant at the same or higher level. We don't want them judging their competition. They cannot be a candidate for elected district official. They shall not be in the same club as any contestant, except for the area contests where that's waived, or club contests, or under extreme conditions where you cannot get enough judges otherwise. They should be equally spread between the areas, divisions, or clubs, if at all possible. There should be, they shall have been Toastmaster members in good standing for 6 months unless they are only a member of a newly formed club. And they shall have completed at least 6 manual speeches in the CC manual, which still applies for judging, or have completed levels 1 and level 2 in a path. Obviously, DTMs would have completed one of those 2. It is possible that someone is not qualified for one of 2 reasons. They may not be eligible. We just talked about that. Or they may be giving a speech which is not original. Originality is defined as 75% original. Quotes are allowed, a certain amount of spoofing is allowed, but 75% of the speech must be original for the international, humorous, and tall tales contests. Only contestants and voting judges, and I repeat, voting judges, may bring a protest for originality or eligibility, even if someone else knows there's a problem. It happened to me at least once. I saw an originality problem, but I was the chief judge, and therefore I was not allowed to bring the protest. But when the judge or contestant brings a protest, they should bring it to the chief judge or the contest chairman. Now, please realize that if a protest is brought, the candidate may come before the judges and explain why they are eligible and why their speech is original. And it has happened that someone gave a speech which everyone had heard before and assumed wasn't original, and they were able to prove that they were the ones who wrote it originally. And so that was fine. Again, these protests must be brought before the winners are announced. In addition, if the announcer of the judges announces it wrong, the chief judge should stop them and make sure that that is corrected immediately. Good judges remind them, judge, they are there to pick a winner. They are not there to evaluate. They are not there to help the contestants give better speeches in the future. And in fact, they should not discuss with the contestants their speeches. First of all, it makes some feel uncomfortable. And second of all, if one of them discusses it, it puts the others in an awkward position if they don't want to. And of course, all of the judges need to be as objective as possible and avoid biases. As I said before, if there's an interruption to the contestants for a short time, let them start again where they lost contact. That's about 30 seconds short time. If a judge loses connection, they should disqualify themselves because they didn't see all the contestants on the same basis, and they should inform the chief judge promptly. The rest of the judges will continue and work it out as seems fit. Now, if the tiebreaker judge drops off, that's a problem. Pick another judge at random to assume the role. And if that's after the fact, they should be able to handle it. After the contest, you have to fill out the notification of winners form and pass that on to the contest chair at the next level. Again, no feedback to any of the contestants. The judges' ballots, scores, etc., are to be taken home and discarded, treated as classified waste. There are people who will dumpster dive to see who judged them how. You don't want that to happen. Thank you for volunteering. Thank all of your judges, since, of course, they have to be as anonymous as possible. The forms that I mentioned before are available at this website. And I'll leave this up for a while. And my contact information is at the bottom. Assuming that no one from one of my clubs is in the district finals, I will be chief judge for the district final contest. However, it is possible that one of my club members will be in that contest, and I will not be able to serve as chief judge. However, you may reach me at the contact information that is there. You may send me a text in the middle of the contest if you need to. Realize, however, that for the month of February, I will be out of the country and it may very well be asleep when the contests are going on. That would only affect club contests, and I will respond to emails as quickly as possible the next day. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. I will be delighted to help. Thank you very much. Have a great contest season and have a lot of fun. Thank you.